Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation for our software capstone project. We're with Capturis. We're making an employee competency tool. So our agenda is pretty typical for today. We'll have an introduction and talk about our company, our problem, the solution, and then kind of the steps we took to do our project, and then I'll Q&A afterwards. So a little bit about our team. My name's David Schwartz.
My name's Quinn Crest.
I'm Angela Mishra.
My name is Vishal Ranjan.
And those are the team members there, and then our sponsors are Kayla, David, Royce, and Tanya from Capturis. So Capturis has multiple locations in Mandan, Shawano. How do you pronounce that? Shawano and Cedar Rapids. Most of them are in Mandan though, and that's where our mentors are from. And then they also have a few virtual employees as well. What Capturis does is they provide utility bill paying service for large multi-site corporations. They have software that helps them pay their bills on time, so they have no late fees. And this allows their customers to analyze their energy consumption across their whole company. And next, Angela will talk about the problem and the solution we provide to Capturis.
So right now, the Capturis leadership team evaluates the employees' performance at a team level, which is why they need a consistent way to analyze the competencies of employees in regards to their peers. And this analysis information helps the leaders evaluate the employees' performance better, which brings us to our solution, which is our project, which is a web-based tool that allows employees and leaders to associate position, role, and set of skills with each employee. And this tool also allows the leaders to set the role for the employees and also proficiencies for the employee skills. Like I said before, this allows the leaders to evaluate the employee's performance in the same position, with respect to others in the same position. And talking more about the solution and how we were able to achieve our goals, these are the technologies that we used. So we made a web application, and we used Angular 7 for the front end and Java for the back end. We also used Tomcat for the web server, and we used Postgres database, which was hosted by NDSU. Next, I will be talking about the schedule. As you can see, we had different user story points for each sprint, and we were able to accomplish most of it. Before the midterm, we were a little bit behind on our schedule, but we were able to catch up on that, and this is our results. Next, Vishal will be talking about the progress.
So as mentioned by Angela, that we were really behind in our midterm presentation. So we caught up with a lot of user stories, but unfortunately we were not able to finish everything. So in the meantime, we completed one of our stretch goals, that was to create Sunburst for every employee, and then to get the so there will be a employee, and then there will be an equity of every employee in the Sunburst. Then we made login page. Then we have a update password. Then we made admin dashboard, which has 5 different tables. We have leader dashboard, employee dashboard, and then our stretch goal, that was Sunburst. So I'll give Quinn to show the demo.
Alright, so I'm going to be walking through the demo with everyone here. So let me pop over to Chrome. So here's the login page that we have. I'm going to log in as myself. Oh.
Maybe you have to stop presenting.
Probably. How do you stop present to end slideshow?
Escape key.
There we go. So here I am on the login page. I think at our midterm presentation somebody mentioned our passwords encrypted. In the database, yes, they are encrypted now. So I'm going to log in as myself with my username, Quinn Crest, or QC. I forgot I changed the password. So here we go. We're gonna hit the, since I am a leader, it's gonna default to the leader page, but unfortunately I'm not cool enough to have any employees under me. So I'm gonna head over to the employee dashboard. So this is the dashboard showing the who I am as an employee, my position in the company, and my role on the team. These are the list of skills that I have as an employee. So from the position stapler and the role stapler intern, I got the skill accuracy. And this is my proficiency level none, so you can see the progress bar is empty. Now, if I would like to add a skill, I will open this up. Unfortunately, we were not able to get the groupings working, so this is just showing all skills in the skills table in alphabetical order. So I'm just gonna look through here, see any, oh, I'm a gamer. So I'm gonna add this gaming skill to my skill list. So I'm just gonna click that and it's gonna update in here. So now I have skill gaming. And when you add a skill, you don't have any proficiency because the employee is not able to change their proficiency because that is done by the leader. So if I just do some movie magic and log in as the supervisor of me, which is the Dark Knight, I can view my page. So here again we see here's Quinn Crest's page, position, role. This drop down right here is used to change the role. So there are two roles underneath the position owner. So Quinn deserves a promotion to CEO. So I'm going to change that role to CEO. And a cool thing that happens is when I change the role to CEO, it's going to add all the skills that a CEO has by default to 0. So if I change that role, you should see, there you go. CEO only has one skill, and it's to recruit, and I added it to my skill list. So, and then let's say the Dark Knight thinks, hey, Quinn's a pretty good gamer, so let's give him a better proficiency than that. Let's say he's intermediate. I'm gonna hit save. So now he's an intermediate gamer. So if I hop back over to mine, you can see now I'm an intermediate gamer and it updated the progress bar. So the next feature I want to show is that sunburst that Vishal was talking about, which will be on a separate tab on the employee page. And this will show off the equity of this employee. Vishal, if you want to explain this.
So in the level 0, let's suppose it's like the username, the user, and then the first level is like the position, the second level is roles, and the third level is skill. So as you know, skill has the proficiency and the intensity. So equity is just like intensity times proficiency. So the value of calling is 20. That's the equity. And then the value of spending money is 4. So if you like add up, it will show in the next level. So if it's like the professional gamer total equity is 24, and if you like hover over the Dark Knight, the equity is still 24. So it's like adds everything from level 3, level 2, level 1, and then it shows up to the level 0, which is the username.
Thank you, Vishal. And then also while I'm here, let's say as a Dark Knight, I want to update my password. So I'm just gonna put it to something random. I'm gonna get kicked out to the logout page. and then I'm going to re-log in with that new password. There you go. And then to wrap up the presentation, I would like to, or to wrap up the demo, I would like to show off the admin page. So if I log in as an admin, here is where we can view all of the tables in the database. So here is the employee table, here is the position table, and etc. So if I want to go to the skills, and let's say I want to add a skill to the database, I would put a name of whatever I want. So like presenting, ability to public speak, and then I assign that to some role, let's say insomniac, and I'm going to give it an intensity of 5 or 6, and then hit save, and that adds that to the database. So that is where the demo, oh, one more feature, sorry, I forgot to show off, is we have on the admin page and the leader page, we have search functionality. So you should be able to, let's say Ezio is who I'm looking for on some long list. I'm going to search Ezio, and he's going to come up. Or let's say I want to search for somebody by their username. So let's say Banjo-Kazooie down there. Type in BK. And so on. So that is the demo as it stands. I'm going to now pass it back to Vishal, who's going to wrap up the presentation for you guys.
This is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, for the issues and risk, we had like a really time constraint. Like we were not able to meet together for like most of the time, so which resulted in like not doing some of the user stories. But the main problem was that we were not able to figure out how the edit is going to work in admin page. It took a lot of time. Then as I mentioned to you before, that we were like really behind in our schedule, like in sprint 2 and 3. That's why like we were not able to complete our some of the user stories. Now, if I make a summary of our project, so we learned a new technology. Like we all were not familiar with Angular. We did learn the Angular stuffs, and then there was Postgres SQL and all stuff. And then we worked with our mentors. Royce was like really helpful for like solving most of our problems. Then we had like regular team meetings to discuss like regular progress. We had like a weekly meeting with our mentors. We meet sometimes in the weekends, and then we decide like what we have to do for our next week. Then, as I mentioned, like communication helped us a little bit. Like. So whenever we were facing some risk, we can take help from the other guys in our group, and then we will figure out what this problem was. And then after the midterm presentation, we picked up our pace, and then we were like able to finish most of our project. So next steps or suggestion we'll give you, like a project is ready to be used by users, but as you know, while updating the password, there can be like you can add a feature like it should be at least one character, one smaller character, one uppercase, or a special character, something like that, and then minimum length or the maximum length of the password can be given. Then, so as he was mentioned, the skill was like it was in a drop-down form, but it was like sorting with alphabetical order. We can do like it can sort by position, then roles, and then the appropriately skills of those roles. And then at last, we can have a compare feature button, so that in the leader dashboard, so that he or she can compare with other employees and see what's position they are in the organization. So now we are ready for the questions.
I guess I had one. When you were adding a new skill, it looks like you can only associate that with one role. Do you have the ability to use one skill across multiple roles? Are they all distinct, so this really isn't a problem? Or is it something that maybe also needs to get added in?
Good question. We were when we were coding that, we were having some issues because we didn't know whether or not we wanted if we wanted a skill to be assignable to multiple roles. But we confirmed that with our mentors that it's a one-to-many relationship. So there will only skills will only ever have one role.
Yeah, though the skills will only be ever associated with one role, but any employee of any role can have any skill because they can switch roles, and when you switch roles, you'll automatically add more skills, and your previous ones will not be deleted.
So it's not really something for generic things like communication where everybody kind of needs that? Or?
Yeah, each role will have their own special skills.
And I guess thanks to that question, I would give the suggestion maybe having just like a generic role in the company that has like generic skills that could be applied across all roles and positions.
I guess kind of following up on that, so if you had a junior programmer and then a programmer, so a junior programmer would have a skill for C#, then the programmer would, and the senior programmer should also have that same skill, but they would carry along as you go up. Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Well,
Well, if you get assigned, if you start as a junior programmer, you'll get assigned the skill C#, and then when you move roles, skills don't get deleted, so you'll just continue to have that skill. But if someone was to be given the role senior programmer right away, then and that role didn't have the C# skill, then they would never get it unless they added it themselves from the add skills drop down.
Another thing, I wasn't quite clear. What did you say the intensity represented?
It was so there's each skill has its own intensity, and when calculating equity, it would be the skill's intensity times the employee's proficiency of that skill.
so you could say it's the difficulty of achieving that skill, and then your proficiency in it. They're multiplied together to get your total equity as an employee in that skill.
Like value then?
Value, yeah.
Yeah.
A good way to think about it is, as a software developer, I don't need to contact customers too much, so my customer communication would be like a 1. But a vendor representative would have it as a 5 because their data depends on it, so it has higher value.
Does that cause a problem if you move roles then, because you've accumulated maybe this old skill in a different role that has high intensity, but if you move to a different role, it no longer carries that same weight, so it almost drowns out something that might be more important. You know, it's like if you were janitor, sweeping floors is maybe super important, but if you move to CEO, your floor sweeping ability is maybe not quite as relevant.
No, but I guess within the company, you still have that experience and that equity for the company, I guess. But, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Just one other little kind of comment. I think you referred to this as a performance review tool, or
Employee competency tool.
yeah. Oh, employee. Okay, competency tool. I'm good with performance. I wasn't, because you can be really good at something, but you don't do it well. I mean, you don't work hard. So even though your skills are high, your performance might be low. So yeah, skills competency versus performance is,
Yeah, we
I'm
don't.
okay with that.
Okay, good.
I guess I remember early on we were talking about security and like password hashing and stuff like that. And I was wondering if you guys ever got around to like having an 8-character minimum or like having a uppercase, lowercase, special symbol or anything. If there's any extra stuff that I haven't seen around that.
So, when you're generating or when the user's creating their own password,
Yes.
yeah, we haven't implemented anything for requirements for what type of password you have.
Okay.
Also, for the password reset, you might want to add the whole password too, so they can.
Yeah, true.
That's not change the password.
It's like you can't use like if you have different like previous password, something like that. You're saying?
And you need to type in the old one just so if
Yeah.
you log in, you're logged in. Maybe it doesn't change it or something.
It's a good point.
Sure.
That's a good point.
Thank you.